and injury lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a football Friday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill. Mike Patel and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. Mr. Hill, how we doing?
Astros looks like they're 1-1 away, but I don't give a care. We're one day away from the Tigers going in Death Valley and shattering Alabama's dream. So let's go. It's Friday.
I tweeted this. I don't know what the big deal is. Bama's got the same record as Tulane. Who cares? What's the deal?
I guess they do, right?
Oh, man. Fired up for 2 hours of football talk here. We'll get to our NFL tiers in 30 minutes, our SEC gambling picks at the top of hour 2, but we are loaded with LSU and Alabama. I've been talking about it all week, Jeremy, and this one feels different for me. I don't know how you feel about it, but generally speaking, when LSU is in its heyday over the last 15 years in the Saban era, this game felt like was going to dictate your season. And the way that I generally approached it was, man, it could all come apart here. In 2011, you've just dusted everybody, and you go to Tuscaloosa, and man, it could all fall apart here. The Fournette team in 2015 that was just freight train running downhill with Leonard, it could all fall apart here, and it did. And it could all fall apart here technically because you would lose your control of your destiny and you wouldn't be able to win the West and the SEC or whatever. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels like you could just shock the world. You could just do something no one expected. And that's not the vibes I've always gotten with LSU and Alabama. Now, the last 2 years, LSU stunk, and that's, I can't believe I left out 2019 where it could all fall apart in Tuscaloosa as well, but the point still remains. It doesn't feel like that to me this year. It feels like, hey, you get a swing at Bama this week. That's what it feels like to me.
No, it definitely is. And it's just a lot different than what we've seen the last 2 years, especially last year. Even when you lose a one-score game, just no one felt great going into that game. But I think the hope and just the ability to control your destiny and to be in a game where, I think preseason everyone kind of chalked it up as a loss. Like everyone just said, all right, we're going to probably lose to Alabama. But we got the Arkansas game, we may have a chance. A&M, we may have a chance. Yep. But it's just totally different feels right now for so many people involved in this game, so many people in Baton Rouge and involved in Tiger Nation. It's just you can only expect an electric atmosphere, and it's just something that I think, this football program desperately needs. And you hear Coach Kelly talk about the players are so anxious to get out there and fly around and play well. I'm excited to go see that thing tomorrow.
Look, these are the nation's two winningest active head coaches, Nick Saban and Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly teams have won 16 straight games in November. Obviously, that all at Notre Dame. Couple ranked wins in there. Nice win over Clemson, even though it was a backup quarterback for that one. But 16 straight in November, and that kind of goes back to LSU playing as well as they have in second halves this year, and Brian Kelly's teams playing the way they did in November at Notre Dame, and I just get the sense that LSU is going to be prepared to play. Now, I said that going into the Florida State game, and they made some bonehead plays, and they didn't play very well. They lost a football game. So I don't know. I'm not at practice. I talked to Matt House this morning very briefly for the pregame show, but certainly didn't get any, scoop or, off the record stuff. Like, I don't know anything. I just feel like this team's got a good coaching staff. They've been playing pretty well over the last 3 weeks. Brian Kelly's track record says his teams get better and improve. They've done that this year. I think LSU is going to be prepared to play tomorrow. I don't know that it means LSU is going to win the game because Bama's really damn good, but I think the Tigers, with a great home field advantage, should show up ready to play.
No, I think so too. And I think anytime you get that reset, that bye week, to kind of get the players mentally and physically back on track, and then obviously you get a full week to kind of prepare for this game. And then based off of just the way they played these last, 2 SEC games when, you're really, really struggling that Auburn game, and it's really hard to make a case that this team would be, lighting the world on fire and kind of, being this offense that they've become the last, 2 times they've taken the field. But they have done that. And I think that just gives a world of confidence to everyone in that building, allows the defense to kind of, pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. And it just builds that excitement up to where what's at stake in this football game. And I think they're going to answer the bell, especially with Coach Kelly kind of getting this team, with his, whole mindset of what he wants to do as a head coach, and Denbrock and House, kind of their mindset. It seems like the players kind of understand what they're being asked to do week in and week out. And if you can do that, play that brand of football against Alabama, it'll definitely be a football game.
Part of the deal on this station in this market is we've got one team we're talking about. We get to the Saints some, but it's really a lot of LSU here. So Jacob and T-Bob have 3 hours in the morning, then Charlie's right before us, and then Matt's 3 hours after us, and then Jimmy's 2 hours after Matt. We can talk about a lot of the same things, and I understand that happens a lot. It just so happens that this week, me and Charlie are on a little bit different sides of the coin. So if you're listening to Handy Time this week, you've heard Charlie say, look, you don't have to be perfect. Your quarterback doesn't have to light it up. And if you're listening to me, you're saying it's all on the quarterback because every time Alabama loses, the quarterback goes nuts. And we'll probably see who's right tomorrow. But the good news is, either way you slice it, Jaden Daniels has been sensational in the last 2 games. He's accounted for 11 touchdowns in the last 2 games. That's the 3rd most over a 2-game stretch.
Professional golfers John Peterson and J.J.
If you look at the 2 that are better than him, you've got Joe Burrow with 14 against Oklahoma and Clemson. Pretty good time to do that. And then you've got Joe Burrow with 12 against Vanderbilt and Utah.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like. Again.
The bank that cares about you.
Backfield and had huge plays. Now, you could go back and say, hey, Alabama made a play on the ball and ran a pickback for a touchdown to ice the Tennessee game, and it got called back for pass interference. So they do, but it's interference. Well, that's interference, and that's another thing they've had a massive problem with. We know that there are only 2 teams that have been penalized more in all of college football than Alabama. Their cornerbacks are handsy. They try to be very aggressive, and they're getting penalties, and they're not coming down with footballs. You've got Brian Thomas Jr. making plays right now. Jeray Jenkins makes plays. We know about Kayshawn. Like, you've got to give them some chances in this game against a secondary that certainly is capable of getting to you, but they haven't thus far, so let's go.
Yeah, and I think also, too, we know just how talented that Tennessee receiving group is without their number one option. But when you kind of look at the teams they play, whether you want to mention Texas, whether you want to mention Mississippi State, or whatever team you want to play that you feel like Arkansas, whatever team you want to pick out that they've had success against, I don't think it's this receiving core that they're going to face this Saturday. I think, when you mention Kayshawn, when you mention BTJ, obviously Malik, who's having a big-time year this year, and then our boy Jeray. You can't leave out our man Jeray. Somehow he always gets left out of the equation. But when you mix kind of all those guys in the fold, and then obviously Besh is getting healthy from what we hear.
He's ready to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys you got to deal with, and I think, with the talent level, I think this is going to be the best they face. So if J.D. gives those guys vertical opportunities to make plays on the field, I don't see that secondary kind of getting up and just making big-time plays because we just haven't seen that, all season long. So I'm excited to see these guys, step up for the challenge. I know anytime you got Ricks out there, I know what these receivers are thinking. They're going to want to make a play on him, and I think JD5 is going to give them an opportunity to do that.
This is a little bit of a tired talking point, but it's Friday. I do want to get your thoughts on it. Dallas Turner, 15, Will Anderson, 31. They are a nightmare. Emory Jones and Will Campbell are really good football players, and they've got a great future ahead of them. Tomorrow could be tough. I mean, what's your concern level with those guys just taking the game over?
Yeah, it's very high. I think anytime you got two guys who are going to be NFL players in short order here, it's something you definitely got to pay attention to, especially when you got freshmen who really haven't, gone against this talent level. We played against some defensive lines this year, but nothing to the level of what they're going to see on Saturday. So I think it's really up to them, Brock, to kind of keep those guys out of harm's way. You heard Coach Kelly talk about it. We're going to have to chip our backs. We're going to have to chip our tight end. You're going to have to get the ball out, kind of having some of those stretches where we saw early in the season where you're just dropping back to pass traditionally. You're not really moving the pocket. You're not really, setting these guys up with screens, getting them flying up the field, and you just let those guys pin their ears back. I love the talent that you have on both sides, but I think you're putting those guys in harm's way, trying to let these, really, really talented edge rushers kind of get after the quarterback. So, yeah, my level of concern is very high when you think about these two guys who can definitely wreck a football game.
The only guy that I can think of on LSU's schedule that compares to those two in terms of size, athleticism, and kind of pedigree, and nobody's quite on Anderson's level at the college game, but Verse from Florida State is that type of dude, and he wrecked LSU. Now, Cam Wire was playing right tackle in that first game, and they've made some adjustments to this point, and hopefully that offensive line is a little bit more cohesive, and you got some different personnel out there. But it's interesting to me because my nature, which is the opposite of a football player, it would be to go to Emory Jones and Will Campbell and go, look, guys, y'all are our tackles for a reason. We think y'all are awesome players. You're not going to have a perfect game Saturday. You're going to lose every once in a while to those guys. You just have to realize that the next play is the most important one after you lose that rep. That's probably not the way to do it because you don't want to tell a guy, give a guy, a failure speech. But it's the way I would approach because they have to, even if you don't coach them that way, they better think that way because you're going to get beat every once in a while with those two guys on the edges if you're just a freshman out there.
Yeah, I think the best way to go about that is, you have a very, very elusive, very fast and, quarterback that can, break the pocket and extend plays. And it's just not a free sack. And it's like it's Tom Brady sitting back there. So I think that, like you mentioned, you don't want to get holding calls. That's the last thing you want to do. If a guy kind of beats you, don't grab him, don't pull him to the ground, and then set you back, 10 yards plus. JD still may be able to get the ball out. He's still may be able to scramble and get some yards. The last thing you want to do against this defense is really set yourself back time and time again and really get those holding calls, which is kind of seen this kind of that Alabama team all season long, especially in games they've really struggled in. So I think for those guys, just do what you've been doing, man. You don't have to really go outside of yourself. These kids are very talented. I know they want to win. This is the reason why they came to LSU. You came to LSU to play in big-time games like this. Don't let the moment, overtake you. Just go out there, have some fun, and you're going to make some plays as well, too.
Here's the reality of it. In 10 months, Will Anderson's going to be beating the right tackle for the Titans every once in a while. I mean, he's not going to win them all, but that's just the reality of the situation. So not going to throw a perfect game against those guys, but Tennessee seemed to neutralize them a little bit, and hopefully with an athletic quarterback who's older and more decisive in figuring out this offense, it's not too big a problem for this Tiger offense. But still plenty to get to here on a Football Friday. Opening hour brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. Angel Oak Home Loans. Contact our guy Ryan Schimpf over there at Angel Oak for all your refinancing and loans for a new home buy as well. Come back, NFL tiers coming up in 15 minutes from right now. More LSU-Bama next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Reliable Roofing and Construction, reliableroufingbr.com.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
This is a personal experience I just had. My homeowner's insurance carrier moved out of Louisiana. We're not writing homeowner's insurance in Louisiana anymore. At that point, you got to get a new one. And when you get a new insurance carrier that comes on, they're going to inspect your home. If they're not satisfied with the roof, they may not insure it. You got to have somebody insure your house to satisfy your mortgage. So if you're in that situation and you need a new roof, Reliable Roofing and Construction is your one-stop shop. They can do inspections, they can do repairs, they can do replacements, and every single job that they perform comes with a 5-year labor warranty. And I can promise you the owner, Lionel Hayes, is going to show up at your home to make sure that his crew has done a great job because he visits every site that his crew works on. Reliable Roofing and Construction. Find the website, reliableroufingbr.com.
Remembering how nervous I was planning to propose to my wife, I've got some advice for you guys going through the same thing. Just relax and go to Lee Michaels. Why? Man, where do I even start? First of all, it doesn't matter what size diamond you're looking for or how much money.
But I showed them what heart looked like. Again and again and again. Mom got me the right care. The right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them. The right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's
Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Phil Steele will be here to preview the biggest games of the college football weekend and our final look at LSU-Alabama. Join us, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You've listened to me on these airwaves for the last 10 years or so, whichever way that may have been, if I was a guest on a show or host here, whatever the case may be. You may be aware that I try not to watch very much Alabama football. They always win. It doesn't bring me much joy at all. It actually brings me no joy to try to pull against them and them generally win games. So I don't watch a lot. I actually did not watch the Alabama-Clemson game where Clemson smoked them out at San Francisco because I was sick of watching them win national championships. I was like, I'm just not going to watch this. I don't have to. I'm not going to. So I still kind of stick to that. I don't like watching Alabama play football. However, I watched a lot of it last night, and unfortunately that meant I watched a lot of Bryce Young tape, and he's just a problem. He's a big problem. His greatest attribute, and this is something that Joe Burrow did so well in college too, but his ability to hit the back of his drop, then have the pocket break down or nobody's quite open, his ability to move around, whether it's backwards, up in the pocket, side to side, and then like maybe juke a defender, be tough to tackle, then get his eyes downfield and hit somebody that's been running out there for 5 seconds. He's so good at that, it's frightening. Texas was all over the place with the pass rush. They had it dialed up coming from everywhere. And he just kept wiggling free and winging it downfield. It's like, God, it's just, we dealt with it with Bo Nix for 3 hours last year. I'm just telling you, this guy is a problem.
No, he is. And it's a lot of guys can kind of have that athletic ability where you want to talk about a Nick Marshall or Johnny Manziel. But I think the thing that makes Bryce just very unique with his talent is he has the same ability as those guys, if not more. But he's so accurate with the football. It's different when you kind of can, extend the play, throw it, chunk it up down the field. He's hitting guys in the helmet, hitting guys in the chest after he's made 4 guys miss in the backfield, and he's not really looking to run unless he absolutely has to, and it's just a very, very difficult thing to do. But I think more now than ever, this Alabama team has to have that. They don't have Jerry Jeudy on the outside, Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle and all these guys. They don't have those guys. They have good receivers, but it's not those first-round NFL draft picks that they're so accustomed to having. And so when you got a quarterback that can extend plays for 7, 8 seconds, 6 seconds, and the defense is covering and covering, someone's eventually going to break open, and Bryce has the accuracy to hit them right in the chest, and now they're first down and extending the drive. And so he's very, very difficult to deal with.
One of the throws he's most accurate with is to the back. And there's so much, you know this as a running back, it's so valuable to put that thing right in stride. You don't make them turn to the back shoulder, and so Gibbs can catch it on the fly and move. Matt Mauck was a really good college quarterback, but there was nothing he did better than throw the bubble screen. And he would always put it right where it needed to be so Skylar or one of those guys could catch it on the move and get up the field instead of having to redirect to catch the ball. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is their number one receiver in terms of yards. He makes a ton of plays. Interestingly enough, if they didn't hook up on that play they needed against Tennessee at the end of the game, but he puts that thing where Gibbs can catch it on the run, and Jahmyr Gibbs is the fastest guy on the field. So when he gets it on the run, it's a problem. And Young is so accurate with those short passes, and that's probably overlooked.
No, it definitely is. And I think that's because you really don't have those burners that they're used to having on the outside. A guy where you can just run a big post route or run a go ball with, and you just throw it up, and then now he's in the end zone for 6. They don't really have those deep threats this year, so now you got to do it the hard way. And, when you're doing it the hard way, you got to have those perfect, accurate throws to keep yourself out of third and long situations, and he has the perfect back to do it. A lot of Alvin Kamara comparisons to Jahmyr Gibbs because he's such a great ball catcher, and he's so electric out of the backfield. That's a perfect teammate to have for a guy like Bryce, especially in this particular offense, because he can get the ball out quick. If there's anyone getting close to him, he can just kind of have that security blanket to kind of dump the ball to, and that's a guy who can definitely make people miss and then really score from 6 anywhere on the field.
I felt better as an LSU fan when I looked down on the sideline and saw Dave Aranda. When I saw him down there, I went, okay, I think we have a plan. I think he'll figure it out. I think that our defense will play very good football. I just had that confidence. That's just the way I felt. And that had been gone for the last couple of years since he left. It's back for me with Matt House because of the way these teams have this defense has played in second halves. Mississippi State, at Auburn, Ole Miss, they combined for 3 points in the second half. Now, Tennessee got 17, but in 5 SEC games, LSU has allowed a total of 34 second half points, and Tennessee got half of those. So I asked him today what the key was to the second half, performances to his defense, and he gave me a coach speak answer that you'll hear in the on the pregame show. He said basically, the guys just lock in and play tough and play their assignments, whatever it may be. But the fact of the matter is, I think he's doing an awesome job, and if he really wants to earn that paycheck and wants guys to look at Matt House for new jobs in the future, go out there and slow down Bryce Young and Jahmyr Gibbs, because no one else has done it outside of Texas for about 2 quarters, but then they couldn't close the deal.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of the thing that you've kind of seen with this Alabama football team is, we played them close, but did you win? And then that's kind of the thing that, they kind of end up winning some of these tight games down the stretch by a couple of points. I need 20-12, so 6 in my core, but another conversation for another day. But I think for Matt House, if you can kind of slow Bryce Young down, I think that's going to be circled in the locker room in those defensive film sessions. Everything around this offense is just so tailored around this guy and what he can do with his legs, what he can do with his arm. And you saw this team without him this year. That offense just did not look the same. You're about to lose to Haynes King. I need to repeat that. You almost lost to Haynes King. So, you got to shut down Bryce.
All right, let's play a game. If I told you Bama was going to score, you have 2 options.
Mm-hmm.
I will say Bama's going to score 28. That's exactly the amount of points they're going to score. Or would you play the game? Would you take 28 right now and go try to beat them?
I'd rather play the game.
Interesting. So you feel like our defense has a reasonable chance to keep them under 28?
I think the scary thing with this defense is they can force turnovers. And anytime you got the pass rush, they have Perkins coming off the edge, forcing a strip sack. And I really just don't. I love our defensive backs against these corners. And then I don't think they're going to – if Mississippi State can shut those guys down in the run game, you're running at Jaqualine Roy, you're running at Mekhi Wingo. You know what this rush defense is capable of. I'm not talking the Tennessee game, but outside of that, I want them to get it the hard way. I want to see them get it the hard way. It's going to be an electric environment. If this was at Alabama, I'd say, okay, give me the 28. But on the road, I've seen this team have a bunch of penalties. Let's see. I'd rather play it out.
So, and the turnovers are interesting because when you look back at LSU's wins over Saban-coached Alabama teams, you can point to a huge turnover in the game, or a couple. In the 2010 game, Drake Nevis came through and stripped Greg McElroy in the second half, and LSU fell on it and ended up getting points on that late in the game. If you look at the 2011 game in Tuscaloosa, we know the Eric Reed interception at the goal line, but Mo Claiborne had a sideline pick that he ran down into field goal range. Defense is going to have to do it that day for the offense, so that was a huge play in the game. You look back at 2019, and yeah, Joe went nuts, and Clyde had the game of his life, but the pick Patrick Queen has right before the half that runs it back in there, and you get another touchdown, was just massive in the game. So, yeah, Bryce Young didn't throw a lot of interceptions, but if you can get a turnover here or there, you can get a strip sack. He's awesome, but he's also a little small. If you can get a blindside hit on him from one of these pass rushers, like BJ did in the Auburn game, or like we know Perkins can do, that is something that you're going to have to do something awesome to win this game, because Bama's a little bit better than you, but you can do it.
Yeah, you definitely can. I think that's really the avenue you're going to have. I just don't know if you're going to be able to just shut Bryce Young down time and time again. He's got to be extending plays. Like, I want to see that. If you can contain him and not let him make 5 guys miss in the backfield and extend plays and really just get him down, I don't think this offensive line is that kind of 2011, 2012 offensive line where it's just the Great Wall of China where you just can't get around any of those guys. He's been under pressure all season long. I was just watching the Utah State highlights. The guys from Utah State getting after him, and he's having to make all these guys miss. And so I think the level of athlete it is. So it's one of those plays. He made like 5 guys miss, a guy hanging on him. He makes a dart through the middle of the field. It's just absolutely ridiculous what he's doing. But I think our athletes are just a little more athletic than a lot of these teams, especially when you talk about that front four. When you got B.J. Ojolari, you got Perkins coming off the edge. These guys are really, really athletic, and we've seen both of those guys have strip sacks. I'll say Florida, that was a strip sack from my boy Perkins. So, yeah, they both got strip sacks this year. So, yeah, I want to see how they contain him, because if they can contain him, I think the defensive backs can hold up, especially with Major Burns being back out there. I want to see it. That's going to be a great matchup for them if they can get him on the ground.
I love Football Fridays for home games, because I feel like sitting here that I'm in the car with a lot of people who are coming from outside of Baton Rouge into town for a huge weekend. I was on campus earlier today. There were tents already going up. Weather's not going to be good tonight, and it's not going to be good in the morning tomorrow, but all indications are we should be in pretty good shape by 6 o'clock. So I think it's going to be an absolutely wired stadium tomorrow night, and it's not all the time. Once upon a time, every game, Tiger Stadium was on fire. You got now every game on television, and the world we live in now, it's just not a great environment every single time. Tomorrow checks every box, and it's going to be absolutely on fire. If you're going to be in the stadium, bring your A game tomorrow. It's okay. If it rains in the morning, let it pass. Come on out to campus. Y'all let them have it, because I think the Tigers have a chance tomorrow, and that would be a really, really special deal for this program in year one under Brian Kelly, to get that monkey off your back like that and then move forward with a chance to do something special this season, which nobody had as really even a possibility as of a month ago when you lost the game to Tennessee by 1,000. So it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. We're still going to be talking about it right here on Hunt and Hill. Opening hour on Friday brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. Contact our guy Ryan Shemp, former Tiger and Major Leaguer. You're looking to buy a new home, you're looking to refinance your home, Angel Oak can do it. If you're a tough loan, whether you're an investor, self-employed, you're having trouble getting approved for a loan, Angel Oak can be creative for you. So go to ryanshemp.com or angeloakhomeloans.com, and he will certainly be there to help you out. Angel Oak Home Loans brings you the opening hour each and every Football Friday here on Hunt and Hill. We'll come back with our NFL tiers. It's next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
Look, guys, if you're looking to please the lady under your roof, be better than a new bathroom or a new closet. Mine's always asking me about it, and One Bath & Closets is your stop for that. David Duvall, been in the game for 3 decades, redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Right now, if you tell David and his crew that Hunt and Hill sent you, 30% off your closet remodel. 30% off. They're licensed contractors, and they're a one-stop shop, so they can come in and knock a wall out or do some heavy-duty construction there. Or if you've got some space but you don't know how to use it, you got shoes all over the place, don't know all your clothes are all bunched up, let David come in, and maybe he can help you with just a few minor things to more use your space a little bit better over there at One Bath & Closet. In the bathroom, look, tub-to-shower conversions are awesome. If you've got a tub, it's kind of the centerpiece of your bathroom, but you don't take baths and it's not all that good to look at, let them come in there and do a tub-to-shower conversion. They can take that tub out, put in a gorgeous glass shower right there for you in your current space. You don't have to move to improve your living area. One Bath & Closets can help you. Go to the website. You can see all their great work there at onebathandclosets.com. David Duvall at One Bath & Closets, onebathandclosets.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located.
Jimmy at 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday for Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday. We recap LSU and college football in the first hour, Rohan Davey, and then preview the NFL with punch of picks from 7 different contributing handicappers. That's Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Football Friday here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Every single Friday, we are live and local from 7 a.m. to midnight. Of course, guys, with OTB in the morning from 7 to 10. Jimmy I's game time at 10 to noon with Charlie. Then Handy time with Jimmy from 12 to 1. They are both at Rufino's as we take you here from 1 to 3, Matt Moscona 3 to 6. That's where we hand it off to Louisiana Prep Preview, which we will today at 6 o'clock. Kate will get you ready for the high school football scene. Catholic played last night, so we'll go national to the ESPN feed. But coming back around at 10 o'clock tonight, it'll be Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, and they will be with you until midnight. Tomorrow's schedule for the LSU-Alabama game, 5 hours before kickoff, so at 1 o'clock, it'll be Eagle 98.1 Game Day, Charles Handegriff and Matt Musso with you from Rouse's on Burbank. They will be with you from 1 until 4. At 4 o'clock, the LSU Sports Radio Network will take over. It'll be Michael Cauble with my guys, Brandon Taylor and Marlon Favorite. They'll be just outside of Tiger Stadium. They'll be with you from 4 o'clock to 5:30. They'll hand it off to the broadcast team, Chris Blair, Doug Morrow, and Gordy Rush. They'll give you the call of the game and a little bit of post-game for 30 minutes. 30 minutes after it goes final, you'll have an hour of the post-game show on the LSU Sports Radio Network with Brian Haldane, Brandon Taylor, and Marlon Favorite. And then 90 minutes after it goes final, you'll have Eagle 98.1 Game Day from right in here. It'll be Jeremy and Charles Hannegriff with that one, hopefully celebrating a huge Tiger win. All right, we do it every single week at this time. It's our NFL tiers list. Tier 4 stinks. Tier 1 is awesome. Let's go through it. 6 teams on a bye this week. Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and San Francisco all on a bye. So a little bit of an abbreviated NFL slate. We start in Tier 4. Only one trash game this week. And thanks to the Saints, the Raiders fall into that trash category now. They're headed to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence's pass rating in the red zone this year is 8. Is that good? No, it's not. He's thrown 3 red zone interceptions and completing 44% of his throws when it counts down there in the money area. Derek Carr, by the way, 0-7 against the spread as a road favorite, which they are. The Jags haven't covered since September there, so I don't know where you want to lay your money, but don't watch this game. Raiders-Jags stinks.
Yeah, that's got to be a very, very difficult one. I think for a team, for the Raiders team, a lot of people thought they'd be a lot more competitive than they have, and then the Jags team, who started out really hot and then kind of fizzled out extremely, extremely cold in really quick fashion. So, yeah, I got to agree with you. Not watching much Raiders-Jags football.
Go to Tier 3, bottom half here of the NFL slate on a Sunday. The Dolphins are at the Bears. Tyreek Hill's got 4 games this year with 150 yards and 10 catches. That's already tied for the most in NFL history with Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Calvin Johnson, and Antonio Brown. That's pretty good company. Nice trade by the Dolphins there.
Yeah, no, it was huge to pick him up, and you have to give up some picks. It seems like they're going for it right now, and that's sometimes what you have to do when you got a quarterback on a rookie contract who's playing well. And Tua's definitely played well this season when he's had to start, and they get to go against your favorite team, the Chicago Bears. So let's see if they can put up a little fight here.
They're starting to believe in Justin Fields up there. And you said earlier this week you're starting to believe in Justin Fields. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Panthers are at the Bengals. The Panthers were 3-17 against the spread over a 20-game span, but they've covered 2 in a row. So we'll see if they can cover at Cincinnati.
The former XFL legend, Mr. Walker himself.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is Joey B coming after a tough loss. He normally bounced back. No, he had the back-to-back week 1 and week 2, but I think they bounce back here, even without Jamar, and figure out a way to win this game. They can't lose to the Panthers. Like this, I could have made a case this is the worst loss of the week if they lose to the Panthers.
Yeah, well, my worst loss of the week is the Packers headed to Detroit to play the Lions. The Lions have lost 6 in a row. Packers have lost 4 in a row. Lions trying to clean things up. They fired their defensive backs coach this week. They traded T.J. Hawkinson, their tight end. It's not good in Detroit.
Tank for CJ. Seems like they're the Michigan area hanging out. They're going to go after the Ohio State quarterback. Yeah. So it seems like that's what they're doing right now. So the Packers can't lose to a team who's tanking for a number 1 overall pick at quarterback. So you got to win this game.
Man, once upon a time, this would have been very much in Tier 1. It's in Tier 3 now. The Colts are at the Pats. No Peyton Manning, no Tom Brady walking through that door. Both teams have turned the ball over 16 times this year, most in the National Football League.
I would have really been looking forward to the Sam Ehlinger-Bailey Zappy show, but it looks like my boy Mac and Cheese Jones is back in the lineup and making a little action here. So we'll see if the Patriots can bounce back. A lot of up and down football for them, but I don't think anyone.
Sam Ehlinger-Bailey Zappy. Yeah. Where are Peyton Manning and Tom Brady? My God, that's an awful matchup. All right, Tier 3, Vikings headed to Washington. Ron Rivera has not been over 500 as the coach of the Washington football franchise, no matter what their name is. But he will be if they win on Sunday against the Vikings.
Yeah, that'd be a big spot for them. That'd be a huge win for them. That division seems really, really tough when you kind of look at the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Giants all playing extremely well. So it seems like that avenue for them to even get a wild card spot is just really, really tough. But if you are going to try to challenge for that, you got to win this football game. And Mr. Kirk Cousins, man, he's rocking all the chains, rocking my boy Jets chain and everything. It looked like he's on fire right now. Yeah, I guess so. He's going to like beating up on the Commanders. I got the Vikings in that one.
Seahawks at the Cardinals. Since Nuke Hopkins came back, Cardinals are averaging 34 points per game. Also, thanks a little bit to Andy Dalton there. Seattle has won by double digits the last 2 games. They're much better than anyone thought, so that's a big divisional game out west.
Yeah, I think Cliff is getting really, really close. Just battling for it. And anytime the quarterback they just paid a fortune to, not on the best terms with you, it seems like they're going to be opening that door for my man Clifford in short order.
Easier to find a coach than a quarterback.
Exactly. So I think the Seahawks are playing hot right now. You see Lockett, having that terrible game he had, but all his teammates picking him up and everyone kind of coming together. Those are the kind of things you build off of, and I got the Seahawks winning that football game.
Here we go to Tier 2, the good stuff. We got 3 in Tier 2 and 1 Tier 1 football game for the weekend. The Chargers are at the Falcons. The Chargers allow 5.7 yards per carry. That is the worst in the NFL. The Falcons can run the football. They got the 5th rush offense in football. So figure over there in Atlanta with the Chargers coming in, Falcons are going to put that thing on the ground.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I think they actually are leading the league in least amount of pass attempts per game. I think they're right at 20 with what they're doing with Mariota, keeping him out of harm's way. And a lot of fantasy owners aren't happy with the production of Kyle Pitts. Well, hard to get that production when you're only passing it 20 times a game. And so over the Falcons, they're a sneaky competitive team. So this is a big spot for the Chargers not to kind of fall out of that contention in the AFC West and obviously a wild card spot. So big-time game. I had the Chargers for worst loss of the week. They lose to this bad Falcons team.
I think they might. We'll just see. Atlanta kind of feels to me like the favorite in the South, which is banana land. All right, Tier 2, the Bills are at the Jets. Buffalo, let's see. I wrote this wrong, so let me see. Buffalo held the Jets to 17 or fewer in 6 straight games. 6 straight meaning 17 points or fewer. That's pathetic. Zach Wilson threw 3 interceptions last week. That's not great. They got off to a good start, but I don't know if I trust Zach Wilson.
No, that's the scary part, and that's why I had the best win of the week. My man Zach Attack, all that dog inside of him, all that grit. He can find a way to me that this is the best team in football. I know the Eagles are flying high, and people love the Chiefs, and you love whoever you want to love. The Bills, I just wouldn't want to play those guys. And so if they can find a way with that scrappy defense that they have to kind of slow them down, Zach's gonna have to light the world on fire. Big time spot, but I got to agree with you. I think the Bills win that game.
Bills losses the rest of the way, over under 1.5.
Ooh, so they can lose one more.
They can lose one more.
Their division so bad. He got the Tom Brady special. That's what Josh Allen has. That bad division. I know the Dolphins have a little pulse now, but it's just not a great division. So I'll take the under. I think they only lose one more game.
I'll take the AFC through Buffalo if that is the case. Rams at the Bucks. Look, that would have been Tier 1 back in September. It is not at this point. We got it in Tier 2. These are the worst 2 run offenses in the NFL. That's why they're not any good. Tampa's 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 games. That's the Brady effect. You're probably getting some points because it's going to be a public team. They're not covering. We'll see if the Rams can go to Florida and win. Saints fans will be pulling for them.
Yeah, they definitely will. And I think for the Rams, they just got a huge shot of confidence. So anytime you see Shaquille Barrett out for the year, it seems like the injury bugs just keep hitting the Bucks and players they really, really need out there. And so now you're going to give Stafford a little more time to throw the football and against that Bucks defense, who's been a little shaky this year. But I don't know what it is, man. I got to see them out of contention for me to think the Bucks aren't going to win the NFC South. I think Tom will do something to figure it out. So, yeah, it would have been an amazing game to see, but I still think there's some storylines here because you see the Super Bowl, champions and then the Bucks, who so many people favorite, just really in these spots that they're in. I think it's a very interesting storyline.
I was listening to Mike Triplett on Matt's show yesterday, and he was like, and he covers the Saints. He was like, I just still feel like the Bucks are the story here. Like, they may figure it out. And that's what everybody's just kind of assuming because they've got Tom Brady and they've got, talented guys and their names. But to this point, they've been awful. And if you're the worst rush offense in football, that's hard to come back from. So we'll see. Tier 1, best game of the week. We've only got one game in Tier 1. The Titans are at the Chiefs. Look, Travis Kelce, 100-yard receiving game away from tying Gronk for the most by a tight end in the history of the league. The Titans are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5. They're playing very well. The Chiefs are 0-3 against the spread at home this year. The game is in Kansas City. I had his best win of the weekend. If the Titans can go to Arrowhead and win, not going to bet on that, but I think it's a good football game.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that's the health of the A&M, the Aggie. Is Malik Willis starting? Is Tannehill starting? What's going to happen with all that? But I just think the Chiefs, man, Mahomes is just special. Like and I don't know how I feel about the Bills in that team, but you talk about a quarterback I could have any Sunday, you got to go with Mahomes. He's throwing to Juju and, Valdez-Scantling and, all these guys. He's just special. It doesn't matter who you tried out there. He's just special. I know he still has Kelce, but Mahomes is different. I don't think the Titans go in there and find a way to win that game.
That's your look at the NFL slate for Sunday. I want to remind you, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Excited to see pro hockey coming back to the Raising Cane's River Center this winter. Tickets just $10 at Ticketmaster.com and at the Raising Cane's River Center box office. You can keep listening for your chance to win some from us. Sign up to win at 1045ESPN.com. Football Friday edition of Hunt and Hill. We'll come back and talk about the big news of the morning. It's Hunt and Hill.
1045 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
One of the things I love about betting on the NFL is that I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbooks, you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout, perfect for tonight's game.
Look, you don't have to watch the Saints on Sunday. And if you're not going to be at the box for 20 innings like I am, you can sit there and play some bets on the FanDuel Sportsbook. You can bet same-game parlays, quarterback rushing yards, running backs to score a touchdown. You can do it a lot of different ways. It's really easy to use, and the best part, when you win, you get paid fast. There's no feeling quite like nailing a same-game parlay, so lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook. New to the FanDuel Sportsbook, you can sign up with the promo code 1045ESPN for your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That is promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues, no withdrawable free bet. Expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're someone who has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
On Mondays, Off the Bench, we recap LSU versus Alabama. We have a new edition of Weekend Winners. And Hold the Mayo. Devin Snow joins the show for a new edition of Spread Lines. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Football Friday. We're making it to the end of the week here. Hope it has been a good one. Sometimes these weeks tend to go a little bit slow. I didn't find that to be the case. Maybe it's because I'm not going to the game. I'm still fired up for the game. But it's going to be a heck of a weekend here in Baton Rouge. These are what make this place So awesome. So appreciate y'all hanging out with us on a Football Friday. It is Hunt and Hill here on 104.5 ESPN. Baton Rouge opening hour on Friday brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. Ryan Schimpf is our guy over there. If you're looking to buy a new home or refinance, Angel Oak Home Loans, your one-stop shop over there. Big news this morning. I was hoping I would see Joe Sloan up there on campus this morning. Did not. He was not in his office as I was running through to grab Matt House for a quick interview. But good day in his world as Colin Hurley commits to the Fighting Tigers. Who is Colin Hurley? Well, Colin Hurley is a 4-star quarterback. He is the number 2 quarterback in the nation in his class. He's a sophomore in high school right now over at Trinity Christian Academy in Jacksonville. However, he's only got 1 year of high school left. He's going to reclassify, so he will be in the class of 2024. LSU won out over Florida and Ohio State for his services. This is a dual-threat quarterback. He's about 6'1", 215 pounds as a sophomore in high school. Jeremy, I told you this off the air, but I'll say it again for those that are listening. I watched his tape this morning and I was like, well, he's definitely got a pretty good arm, but it's not like a crazy good arm. And then I was thinking, wait a second. And I looked at it. This is his freshman tape. His freshman tape. Yeah. So he was 15 years old probably at this point playing football. So he's definitely got some time to grow and fill out, but a very talented player, a dual threat guy who's led his powerhouse of a football program to a state championship and looks to be on the way to potentially another one this year. And talking to Shea Dixon of 1-3, sounds like there's a little bit of Russell Shepard to Colin Hurley, not from a playing perspective, from a face of the recruiting class type deal. Russell Shepard was famously very involved in recruiting other guys to come, kind of the linchpin in that class. Y'all had a very tight-knit class as well in that 2011 group. And this guy seems like a big add for Brian Kelly. Getting a quarterback in any class is very important, but this one seems to be huge. The number 2 ranked quarterback in the country as far as sophomores goes, and he is headed to Baton Rouge.
A lot different than about 5 months ago, about 4.5 months ago, and everyone was like, man, what's going on with recruiting? Like, are we going to be able to sign guys? Like, what's going on? Does Coach Kelly know what he's doing? Why are we recruiting out of state? Like, what's going on? I don't know. It's kind of changed a little bit here, especially when you get the number 2 quarterback in the country. And the second you cut this kid's film on, he's special. You can see why a lot of recruiting services have him as a 5-star, quarterback, because he's very, very accurate with the football, and he's, he can extend plays. I don't want to go Bryce Young territory. He's very young right now, but you cut the high school stuff on it. He makes similar plays to what you see from Bryce. He's back there calm in the pocket. He's very accurate, and like you said, he has so much time to grow, develop into his grown man body, get part of this great Matt Flint program and strength and conditioning. And I think anytime you start a class off with a highly ranked player like that, it just makes that bargaining chip way more easier when you get guys to try to convince him to come play. Like, look, you're going to have a quarterback that's one of the best in the country. Guys want to normally play for those type of guys. So, yeah, it's a big piece to get for Coach Kelly.
That's a real thing. No one's ever recruited me, so I can't speak from experience, but it makes the pitch a little bit better when you can tell guys, hey, look, we've got a quarterback here that everybody thinks is really good. He's going to be under center when you're playing meaningful reps for us, and that's a really good selling point, and I think he's going to do a lot of that as well. So Colin Hurley is the commitment from this morning. I wanted to ask you, like, when did you become the starting running back? What year at Redemptors?
My junior year, actually.
So
I didn't start until my junior year.
That's the point. Like, when you start evaluating freshman tape, it's like that's nowhere near what you're going to be eventually down the road. And like, I didn't, not that I was a recruitable athlete, I didn't grow until I was a junior. I grew like 3.5, 4 inches between my sophomore and junior year. And for him to be that mature and to get those snaps and to play the way he does as a freshman just says he's going to be a pretty special dude come next year, and hopefully becomes a hell of a player here in Baton Rouge. But it's a big get, and any commitment we like to talk about, and it's fun. Recruiting's a fun deal because you can think about what could possibly be. But when you get a quarterback commitment, it just feels a little bit different because those are the ones you celebrate a little bit more, right or wrong.
Yeah, no, it's huge. I really didn't feel like I was really the guy I should be till my second year at LSU, and so I've been getting recruited since my sophomore year, but there's just so much development that happens between when you're the ages of 15 all the way to you're about 20 years old, and it's a huge, huge difference. Like, I was barely benching 215 pounds, and now, like, I'm warming up with that now. So it's just a different level of strength and speed and everything that you're going to do, especially for the quarterback position. And then I think mentally for a quarterback who's been in the pocket that long and has that pocket presence, you're having those ends coming after you time and time again rather than being on the sideline. We all talk about the amazing backup quarterback job where you're holding that clipboard. It's different when the live bullets are flying at you. And so he's going to have a whole entire high school career to do this. And if he's, going early, I wouldn't be shocked if he's, gets to do that spring football, when he's supposed to be hanging out at prom. And so the development is just so much different now. That's why I think you see this game kind of spreading out so much more than, us running toss dive every single play. All these quarterbacks are in these spread offenses as freshmen, and when they get to the next level, it's not that big of a jump for them. So I'll say it's just a huge gift for this recruiting class and building for the future for LSU.
And you mentioned this, and I don't want to make a huge deal out of anything because I don't think it's that big a deal, but I think I can say this with some relative confidence. Brian Kelly and his staff are doing a very good job in recruiting. Doesn't mean you're going to win a ton of games. Doesn't mean you're going to win a title. But the question was, can he come down here and recruit the way that you need to at LSU to win the way that you're supposed to? And to this point, the book's not written, but to this point, his recruiting ability has been pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think, before the summer started, he was like 18 or 19, like way out of it. And now he's chilling in the top 5 right now, and still a lot of work to do. And I think that's a beautiful thing about this thing. You still got the first signing day, still got national signing day. Then you're not stuck at that hard cap of 25. Like, who knows what this class is going to be when it's all said and done. And what we've kind of seen until those national letters of intent are signed, like you may flip a guy, especially with how this season may go. And so I think you definitely got to tip your cap to Coach Kelly and what he's done, and just that blueprint that he knew to start and bring in all these guys with Louisiana backgrounds. We talk about the receiver coach, you talk about Frank Willis, you talk about Brad Davis, all these guys who just know the state so well. He's done a phenomenal job with recruiting so far.
Love to see it. Colin Hurley, 4-star quarterback, will be in the class of 2024, so not the class that's going to sign here coming up in December, and then February, the one right after that. That'll do it for hour number 1. Always brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans on a Friday. If you need to refinance your home or buy a new one, Ryan Schimpf and our guys at Angel Oak Home Loan, your one-stop shop. If you're tough to get a loan, tough to get approved, you're a self-employed investor, something like that, check out Angel Oak Home Loans. They've got some creative packages just for you. If you missed any of hour number 1, catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you find your audio. Sports Center, then we're back with our SEC gambling picks. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% with 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Brooklyn Nets GM Sean Marks says the team has not considered cutting Kyrie Irving, who's been suspended for at least 5 games. Irving did send out an apology on Instagram, but Marks says Irving still has work to do.
There is going to be some remedial steps and measures that have been put in place for him to obviously seek some counseling, designated by the team from dealing with some anti-hate and some Jewish leaders within our community.
Sean Marks, the Nets play the Wizards tonight in D.C. The new college basketball season tips off Monday. Kentucky coach John Calipari says he'd be stunned if preseason All-American Oscar Tshiebwe is available for the opener against Howard, and he may miss some time after that. Tshiebwe is coming back from a knee procedure in October. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports Commanders wideout Jahan Dotson will likely be out Sunday against the Vikings with a sore hamstring. And defensive end Chase Young is also out as he recovers from a torn ACL last November.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
One, two, three. Hunt and Hill. Colin Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour 2, Football Friday. It's Hunt and Hill. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are almost through the work week. LSU and Bama, 6 o'clock tomorrow under the lights of Tiger Stadium. All the eyes in the nation are going to be on the SEC tomorrow. Of course, we know the big one going on in Athens, which we will talk about here shortly. And, of course, Tiger Stadium tomorrow night. So big, big weekend in the SEC. Likely both divisions essentially sewn up tomorrow, although LSU certainly could go out there and beat Alabama and then lose to Arkansas and Texas A&M. Anything is possible, but if Alabama wins, they are looking like the likely winner of the Southeastern Conference West Division, although Ole Miss could have something to say about that as well coming up next week where they play the Tide. But we're talking about this week's games as we do each and every Friday at the top of hour number 2. We give you our SEC gambling picks on the season. I am 29, 29-1, a perfect 500. Jeremy is 27-31-1, 4 games under 500. What do you have to say for yourself?
Pathetic. I'm looking
it's not that bad. I mean,
I'm looking like Jimbo right now. I got to get this thing together before I get fired over here.
You were 3-2 last week. I was 3-2 last week, coming off an 0-3 week a couple of weeks ago, which we could not have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games on the docket this week. So if you can go, you go 5-1, you could get back to 500. So we shall see. We'll start with the morning slate. Kentucky is at Missouri. It's a pick 'em. Just got to pick the winner. Look, Missouri's coming off a win over South Carolina. They've got a pretty good defense, and Kentucky can't really score. Kentucky scored 19 on Ole Miss, 14 on South Carolina, 6 on Tennessee. I'm taking Missouri. They're at home. They're playing a little bit better. Kentucky's supposed to have a quarterback that's going first overall in the draft. I think he stinks. They don't do really anything else. They're not beating anybody. I'm off them. I got Missouri.
All right, let's check this out real quick. I'm definitely gonna fade you real quick. Okay. All right, I was trying to look and see how much my man Mel Kiper gets paid a year. Can't find it right now, but I'm gonna go with that guy. I'm sure they pay that guy a lot of money. He believes in Will Levis a ton. So come on, Will. I need to get back in this thing, bro. Give me Will Levis, the top 4 overall player on the big board.
I got Eli Drinkwitz, my main man, getting it done on Saturday. I'll take it. I'll let you pick this one first. Florida is at Texas A&M. The Aggies are a 3-point favorite. Both teams are 1-4 in the league. One of these two teams is going to be 1-5 in SEC play, which should not happen at A&M or Florida.
You're going to give me 3 points with anything related to the Aggies right now on that dumpster fire? No, you lose Cox, a big-time guy from my man Napier in that Florida program, but I don't think it matters. I think Richardson's going to be running all over the ballpark in Calfield. And I know, electric atmosphere, but this seems a little more sleepy. Let the fans down, had a big-time atmosphere, a big-time environment.
11 a.m. kickoff?
Yeah, 11 a.m. kickoff, sleepy A&M program. We don't have to go through all the stuff that's going on in College Station, but give me the Gators here. Pushing Napier.
We saw that Florida defense against LSU. It is not good, and A&M's run defense has been putrid as well. Ags allowed 390 rushing yards to Ole Miss. They allowed 286 to Alabama, 244 to Arkansas. App State ran for 181 on Texas A&M. We know Florida can run the football and will. Texas A&M can run the football and will. The over-under on this game is 54.5. I would take the over in this game. I think it's going to be high scoring. Look, we'll see. Connor Wegman's debut was pretty good. It was his first game. They didn't announce him as a starter until late. He goes out there and plays and did a pretty nice job in a losing effort against Ole Miss. He has had a week of practice as a starter again. We'll see if he goes out there and improves upon that or if he regresses a little bit. But I will take the Aggies at home. I'll lay the 3 points. I just think Florida's defense is bad, and A&M's going to get the ball to A-Chain and Stewart and those guys. They're going to score a little bit more. I think the over is the best play in this game, but I will take A&M and lay the 3 points. So we are opposite on the first 2 of this slate. Now let's go to the 2:30 game. Athens, Georgia. Between the hedges, it is football time in Georgia. The Vols coming in, rolling hot. The line's 8. Georgia is favored. What do you got?
Rocky Top, you'll always be home to you. I don't know how the rest
goes.
Home
sweet home to me.
Yeah. That's how it goes. Something like that. But yeah, give me Rocky Top here. I just think that offense is just electric. I don't think Georgia's faced anything like that all season. And sometimes you're just having that magical year. And I think for Tennessee, that's what they're having right now. And defense, a little more sneaky guy. I know Bryce lit them up. They did have a defensive touchdown in that game. But defense a little more sneaky than you think. And I just think with Hooker, they're going to spread you out. They don't have to run the ball in the teeth of that Georgia defense time and time again to have success. And the tempo is going to be fast. It's going to be hard for those Hedges fans to just stay just so loud because they go so fast. It's hard to get loud when they're just running play after play after play after play. You never get a chance to get your win, and I think that's going to be a lot of the case there in the Hedges right now. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Tennessee in this one.
I will give Georgia a little advice. Don't fumble the opening kickoff when you play Tennessee. That's my piece of advice for Kirby Smart and his squad. If they want to play that in the locker room, they have my permission. Look, there's a reason why they keep building these huge hotels in Vegas and why all the sports books are begging you to download the app and giving you free promo codes. And it's not because they lose all the time. But they're going to lose on this one. 97% of the money is on Tennessee, and the Vols are going to cover this, and they very well may win the game outright. I will pick them to win the game outright, but they're going to cover the 8. How many? This Tennessee team scored 52 on Bama. They're going to score 35 points in this game minimum. They're going to roll out of bed and score 35 on Georgia. So do I trust this Georgia offense to go out there and make sure they score 40 points? They may. I don't think so. Tennessee's going to win this game. Tennessee's got the quarterback that's playing the best. That offense is elite. They've got Tillman back. Hyatt's playing out of his mind. And the defensive line is pretty good. They have stopped the run and done a pretty good job. They put Kentucky in a blender last week. So I think Vegas screwed this one up, and I think they're going to get toasted on it. Now, again, I realize that my wife and I sit there and analyze finances every single month, and Vegas just counts money. but I think they whiffed on this one. I'm taking Tennessee for sure, and I would play them on the money line. All right, Liberty and Arkansas up there in Fayetteville. Hogs hadn't been home in a month. They are laying 4.5 to a one-loss Liberty team. Hugh Freeze's squad is a 2-point conversion away from being undefeated. They lost to Wake Forest, who's in the top 20 by a couple of points. What do you think about the Hogs laying 14.5?
Something about my man Hugh Freeze, but give me the Razorbacks. Give me KJ Jefferson and the crew. They're not going to be able to stop Sanders. Sanders may rush for 300 on Liberty. I just don't see them being able to slow him down, and KJ's not going to turn it over. And so anytime you got a back running the ball down your throat, can't do anything about it. You got a quarterback that's not going to turn it over. He doesn't have to throw for 250 or 300 or anything like that. Take care of the ball and some heavy play action stuff. And I do like you. Maybe the Auburn coach. I would love to see that. That'd be great TV. But, yeah, give me the Razorback. Give me Hog Suey here.
Arkansas's defense stinks. That's just what I'm calling it like I see it. They just have not played well all season long. Hugh Freeze is coming off a bye. He is still, even though I don't like him at all because I don't like a guy who continuously throws Bible verses and stuff at me on Twitter and then has a burner phone and is getting ladies in Florida. That's just not my deal. I'm perfectly happy with people talking about the Bible and doing all that kind of stuff, but don't do that and then cheat at football in recruiting and do that with your cell phone. That's just not my thing personally. So I'm not a big Hugh Freeze guy, but I do think off a bye against a bad Arkansas defense, he can stay within 2 touchdowns. They lose the game by 14 points. I've got to cover. I will take Liberty to cover, even though I think Arkansas is going to score a lot. I do think Liberty will score a lot as well. So give me Arkansas to win, but Liberty to cover. All right, game nobody's really talking about here, but I think it is a little bit fascinating. Auburn is at Mississippi State. Auburn, of course, no longer has Brian Harsin. Cadillac Williams running the show over there. Kind of shows the dysfunction over there at Auburn when you realize that Cadillac Williams took over and immediately fired all the Boise State guys that Harsin brought in. He wants some Auburn folks in there, and that's what he's got. So they're playing shorthanded as far as the coaching staff goes, but they're headed to Starkville. They're catching 12.5 points. What do you think?
Man, I was going to think about, Auburn because of the running attack, but what Mississippi State just did to Jahmyr Gibbs, I think they can slow that rushing attack down just enough, and that Auburn defense isn't saving them what they do. I got to go with Leach here at home, night game. Those stinking cowbells are going to be rattling all night long. I'll take Mississippi State as much as I don't want to.
So Mississippi State, we've talked all year long, they're kind of the control. They don't go way up or way down. If they play a really good team, they're not going to win. They play Alabama, they don't even score. When they play bad teams, they beat them. And Auburn's a bad team. And I think Mississippi State will come out. I think they can break Auburn's spirit a little bit. Maybe Auburn's got a shot of life because Harsin's not there anymore and Cadillac Williams is giving them the pump-up speech and they play really hard. They were actually playing fairly hard for Harsin, but this Will Rogers passing attack is not going anywhere. He's going to throw the football. Mississippi State, even though they didn't score until the last play of the game, actually was even in yards with Alabama. They just couldn't get any first downs on fourth down. But I think they're pretty good. They're going to wipe the floor with Auburn, so I'll lay the points with Mississippi State as well. In the last game, South Carolina is in Nashville at Vanderbilt plus 6.5. I never win a Vanderbilt bet. So, South Carolina had a 4-game win streak snapped last week, played very, very poorly in a loss to Missouri. Look, I never win Vandy bets. I'll take Vanderbilt and the points. It never works out for me. There's no reason to do that. I think South Carolina will probably beat them by 40 points because they're terrible. But I never win a Vanderbilt bet, so I'll go the other way. I'll take the Doors. Who you got?
Give me Beamer Ball. I'm not taking Rattler. I'm not taking anything else. I'll take Beamer Ball. Maybe they block a punt. Maybe they block a field goal. Take it back to the house.
Rattler stinks on ice.
Yeah, if he can't do anything against Vandy, what are we doing? They're gonna have a real deep conversation because I'm sure the NIL dollars got popped out for the Heisman quote unquote candidate, that they brought into South Carolina. So they probably gotta have a knock on his door about that whole conversation. But I'll take the Gamecocks. Why not?
You sound very confident.
Not at all. I said against the Doors. Like, why am I not confident against the Doors?
I lose every Vandy game. So what do you? I mean, I have I wanted to flip a coin, but I don't have one on me. So whatever. In the Missouri-Kentucky game, I got Missouri. Jeremy's on Kentucky. Florida A&M. Jeremy's got Florida. I've got Texas A&M. We are both on Tennessee with 98% of the public. Usually Vegas wins that one, but I think they missed it on this one. Jeremy's got Arkansas. I got Liberty. We both have Mississippi State covering at home against Auburn, and he's on South Carolina, and I've got Vanderbilt in that one. Those your SEC gambling picks. We'll come back, return the conversation to LSU and Alabama next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford. Check out that whole inventory at BayouFord.com.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They got a new special tab that updates daily. It's complete with a photo of the vehicle and the savings you can score, as well as a video profiling the vehicle and all of its features. Don't see anything you love? That's okay. Keep coming back because Bayou Ford will keep rolling them out as the site updates. It's all right there at BayouFord.com.
Like if you hadn't bought a car in a while, it used to be you go to the lot, you walk around with the salesperson, drive 3 or 4 of them, go to the counter, figure out the financing. You don't have to do it that way anymore. A lot of people just buy their cars from home online. BayouFord.com has the entire inventory like Jeremy just talked about, and you can look through what they've got. They've got Mustangs. They've got your F-150, F-250s, Explorers, Expedition. They've got your Broncos. They've got all of that there. They've also got a great selection of pre-owned vehicles as well. You can check them all out online. And if they don't have exactly what you want, don't settle. Go ahead and let them customize a vehicle for you at Bayou Ford. They will get a vehicle that is exactly to your specifications, and they can turn it around in 2 to 3 months and have that thing delivered right to you with one of their 6 full-time drivers. Check out that inventory at BayouFord.com. Got some great specials as well. Bayou Ford, where they're going to do right by you.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
10 in the prep football season, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. And we'll wrap things up with the Week 10 edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show from 10 to midnight on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Man, tomorrow's going to be a fun day. fired up for those that are going to be out on campus and packing into Tiger Stadium. It ought to be full. It ought to be loud. It ought to be a lot of fun. We'll see if the Tigers can play a great football game and win. Going to be a huge weekend in recruiting as well. Our guys over at On3 reporting that there are going to be some star-studded visitors. Obviously, Shelton Sampson from right here at Catholic High. They played last night. He'll be in attendance. DJ Chester, new offensive line commitment from yesterday, is going to be in town. Desmond Ricks, big 5-star defensive back who has been kind of projected potentially to come to LSU, but still very much in the mix are Alabama and Florida. He's going to make his decision coming up in December. He will be on campus with his dad, so big weekend for the Ricks family there. Hopefully he enjoys what he sees. My question to you, Jeremy, how do you feel about LSU's defensive front slowing down Jahmyr Gibbs? They did a really nice job against the running back, specifically from Florida State, Florida, Auburn, and Ole Miss. Now, Richardson got loose a little bit. Jordan Travis gave him some fits, kind of running around some and making plays, especially on third down. But the running backs outside of Tennessee, when Small went nuts, haven't done a great job against LSU. Can they hold up against Gibbs, who is the most talented back they've seen?
Yeah, they're going to have to. And I think really up the middle, you've seen them do a really extreme, good job. When you look at Mekhi Wingo, you look at Jaquelin Roy, they've done a great job. And I think the linebackers have really fit them, the inside runs well. But I think when you've seen teams have success against this LSU defense, it's like you said with Small, they're hitting you on the outside and, they're catching you all on their defense, and then now they're running up the sideline. And so I think Gibbs does have the speed, to get to the edge and obviously beat you to the corner and turn it up. And, now he's on the second level. So I think it's going to be, a week where you have to contain him and keep him inside. And even that touchdown run against Mississippi State early in the season, that was a run where it's outside the tackle, you make the safety miss, and now you're in the end zone. And so I think that's something that you're going to have to see this defense take a huge step up in, because Gibbs does have the speed and he does have the make you miss ability, on the edge to make a guy miss and go. So I'm going to be really, intrigued to see early on if that's something Alabama can keep leaning to. You saw them do that at a high level in that Arkansas game where they said, you know what? We don't have to pass the ball. We're just going to hand it to Gibbs and watch him do the rest. And so, yeah, I'm a little worried about it, especially on the outside. But I think if they try to run it up the middle, you saw Mississippi State shut them down. I think LSU can do the same.
Yeah, Bama has not run the ball great in their last two games. Against Tennessee, they ran it 31 times for 114 yards. That's not setting the world on fire. A little bit over 3 yards per carry. Mississippi State, as you mentioned, really shut them down. 27 carries for 29 yards. Previously, they had run it great. They ran it great on A&M, whose run defense has been awful all year, 51 times for 288 in that one. Against Arkansas, they ran it 42 times for 317. I don't count Vanderbilt. That's not a real football team. Neither is ULM. But Texas, 24 carries, 161 yards. That included an 81-yard burst in that game. So against the really poor run defenses, they've run it like crazy. Against good run defenses, Tennessee, as much as their secondary has been maligned this year, the run defense has really come to play. They couldn't run it great on Tennessee, and they didn't run it great on Mississippi State. He's scary, but LSU's run defense has played pretty well, and I have reason to believe they should show up tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they definitely will up the middle. I have no concerns. I need to see a little bit more when teams try to attack them on the edges, especially when they get Perkins out there. I think that's something where teams are trying to do, and especially when you take Ojulari off the edge, they're going to run the other way to the edge and try to see what they can do there. But, I mean, you've seen talented backs as you have going against Bigsby, you have going against Hunter, and then you just play Junkins, and we just seen what he can do. So we've seen them play against some of the more talented backs in the SEC and really do a good enough job to kind of slow their offensive attack down to force them to be in pass situations. So as much as unfortunate for this team, you kind of probably don't want Alabama dropping back passing it every single play. But I think you always have to start with stopping the run, and if they can do that, you'll be in a prime position to win this game.
I think this week the narrative, and for a reason, but I'll add a little bit of color to it, has been that Alabama's receivers aren't that great. It's really Jahmyr Gibbs, Bryce Young, and they just try to figure it out at wide receiver because they don't have Waddle, and they don't have Ruggs, and they don't have Judy, and they don't have Smith and all these guys. And it's true, they don't have those guys. But I'm watching Bama highlights last night, and the guys do make some plays. I mean, Ja'Cory Brooks has 4 touchdowns on the year. Jermaine Burton has 3 touchdowns on the season. Trayshawn Holden has scored 5 times. They don't have, Julio Jones physically that you look at him and go, who the hell is that guy? I mean, they don't have that. They don't have anybody that runs quite like Ruggs or Waddle that is making a lot of plays for him. The Vanderbilt, the transfer from Louisville is going to set the combine on fire with his speed, but he hasn't made a lot of plays yet this year. But I mean, Burton's a fine player. Brooks is a fine player. But don't be shocked if an Alabama guy makes a play on a post route and goes 65 for a touchdown. They've got some guys who can do that. They just don't have the one of the greatest wide receiver rooms in the history of college football, like they had the last 3 years.
Yeah, but I think that same case could be made for just about most of the respectable SEC teams. They're going to have guys who can go out there and make plays. I mean, we've seen that before all season. But I think anytime in a game like this, those plays are definitely hard to come by. It's a lot of the bright lights are on, and obviously you're going to be playing to the best of your ability. And so I just don't know if these receivers are going to be making those type of plays. I still see Devontae Smith running 2 go balls and just walking into the end zone. I know one of them was a little trickery look away play, but those are just a different type of receivers.
The game they played in Tiger Stadium when he kept catching touchdowns.
Yeah, one-hander.
I've got COVID. I'm in pajamas. I did a pregame show from my kitchen table in pajamas. I'm watching the game, and I'm screaming at my television, somebody cover this guy. Like, it's the one guy. And nobody did all year. That's why I won the freaking Heisman Trophy. But it just drove me nuts.
They don't have that.
They don't have that. But when we talk about the running backs and we talk about LSU's having success with everybody but Tennessee, you can't really compare anybody to Tennessee. Nobody's going quite that fast. Ole Miss tries, but they don't have the dynamic quarterback and the receivers that Tennessee does. So I tend to say toss the Tennessee game out when you look at LSU's defense. But in the passing game, Bryce Young is every bit what Hendon Hooker is. So the whole throw the passing game out doesn't hold as much water, especially when you're talking about them in the passing game. So while I'm confident that LSU can slow the run down a little bit, I'm concerned about the passing game, and I think that's where Alabama, if they are to win this game, they'll do it through the air with Young.
Yeah, I definitely see that too. I just don't see a world where they can kind of just take control and just hammer it down your throat time and time again with Gibbs. And no offense, but I just don't even know who their other backs are on that level. Like, have they gotten that many touches?
Jace McClellan is the other guy.
Yeah.
He had the 81-yarder against Texas. He's got some speed, but Gibbs is the dude, and it's a lot. It's very Kamarish. That's a great comparison that you made because it looks effortless, but you can tell he's got another gas, another gear.
So I think we're kind of seeing that blueprint. Like you said, the last 2 games that they played really haven't gotten to get him going on the level that you probably want to see, especially like that Arkansas game. And so if he's not doing that, it's going to have to be Bryce extending plays, running around, creating measure. I don't want to see another Bo Nix Menzel type of shot. I literally may cry in the press box if I see that again in Tiger Stadium.
That play he made when he got all the way to the sideline and hit that tight end coming across the field was disgusting.
Yeah,
Brian Harsin, who is roundly thought of as the worst coach in Auburn history, was the guy who came in here and snapped the 20-year streak of them not winning in Tiger Stadium. That makes me upset.
Yeah, that's just bad. It's just going to where we were last year and prior to where we are now. So I'm not going to talk about the bad times, talk about the good times. And hopefully we can get Bryce on the ground, because if you can do that, I don't know if these receivers are going to light you on fire.
When you talk about Gibbs, I was talking to Matt House this morning for the pregame show, and you'll hear this interview on the pregame show. I said, what's the key to slowing him down? And he said, we're going to hit him. We're going to hit him when he's in pass protection. We're going to hit him out in the flat. We're going to hit him when he gets the football. We're got to hit him. And he is... he doesn't look like Trent Richardson or Derrick Henry back there. He's 5'11", 200 pounds. He's put together just fine, but he's not as physically imposing as some of those backs that they've had. He's more of a shifty guy with incredible speed. So I thought that was interesting to hear. We're gonna hit this guy, make him know we're here.
Yeah, you have to, and that, like you said, it's a smaller guy. We have seen him banged up. When he did get banged up with his shoulder, that guys are hitting him, putting him on the ground, and that's what you have to do. You got to, make him question. I mean, we just saw that with Jackson Dart and right here in Tiger Stadium. He was, wheeling the deal in those first 15 plays, lighting the world on fire. Then, all right, let's hit this guy a few times. Let's hit him a little more, and then let's see if he likes it. And then, a lot of times you just keep getting hit like that. Those thoughts start creeping in your head like, wow, like if I don't get this ball out, I'm going to get my brain beat in. And so I probably need to get this ball out a lot faster. And then that's when the mistakes start coming in. So, yeah, I think you've seen teams. I mean, go watch that Utah State game. There's guys getting after him. It's just Bryce, though. He's going to probably make him dance, spin around, do a little loop-de-loop, and throw a pass on the field. But you can get pressure on him. So you're going to have to do that on Saturday.
I can promise you B.J. Ojulari and Harold Perkins are going to be on the field together in the game tomorrow. I asked Matt House about it on the pregame show. He said, yeah, those guys create problems, and we want to create problems for these guys. And when those two are on the field, you got to know where they are, and you've got to tailor what you're doing offensively to make sure that those guys don't do something that totally disrupts what you're doing. And so you're going to see those two guys on the field for sure. I opened with this, and I want to talk about this briefly before we do some take it or leave it. We'll have our final pick coming up here in 30 minutes before we get out of here on a Football Friday. But, man, I'm in such a great headspace for this Bama game as a fan. I would prefer it the other way. I would prefer that you had, an undefeated team and you felt like this was the biggest game that you'd ever played, that 19 feel and that 11 feeling. That's preferable because it means you're undefeated and you're where you want to be in the season. LSU's got 2 losses to this point, but it's year 1 of Brian Kelly, and instead of feeling like we did in 2011 and feeling like we did in 2015 and feeling like we did in 2019 where, man, this whole thing could come unraveled. This is such a huge game. Oh, my gosh. It's like, man, we're not even really supposed to be here in my eyes. This is me talking. And we got a swing at Bama here. If we win the game, hell yeah, we won the game. Let's go. We got to win the West. If we don't, man, we're already ahead of schedule. Brian Kelly's got this thing moving in the right direction. Man, we didn't get him this time, but we're here, and we're gonna. And it's just a different feeling for me. And I personally am okay with this. I want it the other way starting next year, but right now I just feel like this is a free swing, and man, for me, I get crushed if we lose these games like we did in 2015 in Tuscaloosa, like we did in 2012 when you were on the field. Like, that's just a crushing deal. I won't feel like that tomorrow if that happens, but it's a little bit different headspace, and this whole year has been a different headspace. That was something we talked about last week, where you go from, okay, we're kind of rebuilding, to, oh, man, we lost Florida State. We're really on the bottom end of this thing, to all of a sudden now, like, well, man, we're in the top 10. We might be Bama and control the West.
Yeah, it's one of those old sayings, playing with house money. Like, that's what I feel like this is a similar situation to where, you lose a game like this where, no one really predicted you to go to SEC championship or go to the college football player, anything like this. It's just a year where you kind of just get your feet wet and see what happens, and to be in a situation where you can control your destiny. It's a win-win, I think, for Tiger fans, where you're going to be really cheering on your team to win, but if somehow you fall short, it's not the end of the world, because what BK's building here, and it's looking like he's building something very special.
We like to hear that. I want to remind you, professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studio podcast for the people. You can download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill with you on Hunt and Hill. Our final pick for this weekend's game between LSU and Alabama coming up in about 25 minutes. Come back with us. We'll play some Take It or Leave It on Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
One of the things I love about betting on the NFL is that I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook, you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score even a bigger payday. Perfect for tonight's game.
Yeah, I mean, you can bet any of these games. The college football slate is loaded. NBA is locked and loaded. And, of course, we've got the NFL. You can build your own same-game parlay or pick one in their pre-made same-game parlays right there on the FanDuel Sportsbook. The app is so easy to use. You can live bet during the game. If you see something you like or you notice something, hey, I want to jump on this, the odds change during the game, and you can just plug it right in on your FanDuel Sportsbook app. And the best part, when you win, FanDuel will pay you fast. There's no feeling quite like nailing a same-game parlay, so lock in your bet today on FanDuel. If you're new, sign up today with the promo code 1045ESPN. It means they'll know that we sent you, and you can get your first no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued and non-withdrawable free bet expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're somebody who knows giving problem wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7, The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Atlanta Falcons and the Los Angeles Chargers at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I got to say, I'm pretty fired up for Wednesday. I'll be in the PMAC. Tigers opening the Matt McMahon era. College basketball officially upon us next week. And that's, I like to just turn, I don't watch very much NBA, but college basketball is generally on most nights. And I'll flip over there and watch some college basketball. So that'll crank up next week. And we'll have something else to talk about.
Oh, yeah. No, it's definitely a great time. Great to have Coach McMahon on and get to see the Tigers and see all these, this new team. And I'm ready for the Alan Miller show. I know it's, not getting much, hate or criticism when you're sitting on the bench hanging out, but I think he's going to have a big time here, so I'm excited to see him play.
It was just so easy last year. Well, if Miller was out there, they'd be lighting it up. Well, hold on. He's not an NBA All-Star just yet, but, yeah, he'll be out there playing Wednesday night, first game inside the PMAC, and they are playing 20 innings against McNeese at the box on Sunday. I will not be there for 20 innings. I might make 7 or 8, but I'm not making it for 20. I'm going to come back in from the wedding on Sunday and head out to the box and check that out. So we will have a little bit of baseball and basketball talk next week. But most importantly, we'll be reacting to LSU and Alabama. We'll give our final picks for the Tigers and Tide coming up in about 15, 18 minutes from right now. But we do it every single day. Let's play some Take It or Leave It.
Alrighty, here during the Eagles and Texans postgame, a fan made a poster directed at GM Howie Roseman for the missed wideouts he selected in the draft and said he was forgiven, but Howie was not so happy, telling him he was forgiven because he brought the team their first Super Bowl. Are you taking or leaving? Howie should get a pass for missing out on Jets.
I mean, I'm going to take it. They won the Super Bowl, and they're undefeated. I think you got to be okay with the GM. Yeah, Rieger was a terrible pick. We got it. But, the Eagles are pretty good, so I think Roseman's doing okay. I think you got to cut him a little bit of slack there. They can't be perfect every time. It'd be really scary with Jets out there right now. But that's, just chill out, Philadelphia fans. You're in the World Series. Your team's undefeated. I mean, the Sixers aren't awesome. They're okay, but, just chill for a second. All right. When asked about being traded from the Lions to the Vikings, T.J. Hawkinson said first time in his career was he expected to go somewhere and win a game. Going from the worst team in the division to the best team overnight. Take it or leave it.
Oh, I'm taking that. I mean, talk about the doldrums of Detroit. Talk about Hall of Fame career-killing city and organization where if you're just the best player on earth, guess what? You're going to quit football. The sport you love, you're just going to quit. So, right, man, TJ, you go from the Lions bite kneecaps. You don't have to ever bite a kneecap, TJ. Never again. You have to ever worry about that. Now you're in the first place.
It truly defies logic. Like, I get why some teams in Major League Baseball just aren't ever good because they're in small markets, there's no salary cap, and you just can't spend to get the great players as free agents, and you got to rely on draft them, and then they leave after their contract's up. Like, I understand that. The NFL is literally engineered so that everybody's pretty good every 3, 4, 5 years. Yet the Lions, for decades and decades and decades, suck. Every year. You get easy schedules, high draft picks, whatever. They're never good. How is that possible?
You get the pick of your head coach. You got to get a new head coach every single 2 years. You think you get one that you kind of trust, and I think kind of things went left when they got fired Caldwell. I mean, you're in the playoffs. They were, had a pulse. I know that pass. My boy Taylor Sharp probably liked that phantom pass interference call against Dallas, but it seems like things just went downhill since that. But yeah, the Lions, you must have a breath of fresh air just going from that.
Even Jacksonville had a good year out of nowhere a few years ago and had a lead in the fourth quarter of the AFC Championship game. Like, anybody can just luck into it at some point. The Lions just never appeared in the Super Bowl. That's
bad.
Brutal.
Yeah, that's bad. All right, you'll love this one here. Brad Crawford of 247 Sports, he made a list of prime candidates for the vacant Auburn head coaching job with a surprising name making the list. Urban Meyer, with his track record at Florida and Ohio State, is a prime candidate for Auburn. Urban Meyer, the next Auburn head coach. Take it or leave it.
I will leave it. Look, I mean, there was a time 5-6 years ago where you said there's only 2 sure things, Urban Meyer and Nick Saban. They're guaranteed to come in and win like crazy. Urban has done so much harm to his reputation that I don't think he's a sure thing anymore. I don't think anybody's going to hire him anytime soon. But I would no longer put him in that sure thing category because the thing that made him so great was his ability to recruit at an elite level, and his reputation just is shot at this point, and I don't know if he could do it. He's just so unlikable, so brash. The stories that come out, it just doesn't – it seems like it would be a PR nightmare if you did bring him in. You can probably do some television because you don't have to recruit on that, and if you know the game, you can make it work. But yeah. I think his day is done at the elites of college football. That's my read on the situation.
Yeah, I think it's the reason why people are talking about Deion taking that job because, like, as a former recruit, like, these guys walk into your living room, they meet your family, they sit down at the dinner table with you, and you if you're a mother or a father or, a grandmother or someone, and you read the stories about Urban Meyer, it's like, why would I want my kid to go play for that guy? And I think, I don't know what it was, like, during this time at Utah or Florida. I never heard this stuff. Like, I never heard, like, him doing this stuff to players. And so, of course, you can go get Michael Thomas, Bosa, Ezekiel. Like, you can just go line them up, make a super team. But now, like, why would someone commit to this guy, with all the stuff that's just going around his name right now? So, I don't know my boy Brad Crawford. I don't know what you're thinking throwing Urban on that list, but like I said before, I think someone will spin that wheel, but I don't think it's right now or the foreseeable future.
Look, I didn't realize when I went to the first ever playoff year, that game where they beat Alabama in the Superdome. Incidentally, that was my cousin's wedding weekend. That's why we were in New Orleans, and me and my dad went to that game. It's her younger sister's wedding that I'm going to tomorrow. But I had no idea the talent that was on that Ohio State team. I mean, the guys that come out, you just listed it, but I mean, like Von Bell, Bosa, Lattimore, Michael Thomas, Zeke, like that team was just ridiculously loaded. And the Bama team was pretty good, but they did have Blake Sims at quarterback, which is a little bit limited, if I do say so. And, they trounced Oregon when they got to Dallas to play them. But, man, what a loaded squad he had. He could recruit like crazy in his heyday. Those Florida teams were terrifying when he had them, and he built that eventually at Ohio State as well. Again, I just don't think he's a sure thing anymore. So that's my read on the situation. Last one here. When asked about Alabama's quarterback Bryce Young, Brian Kelly, LSU head coach, said he's the best player in college football. Bryce Young, the best player in the land. Take it or leave it.
That's a tough one. There's some guys out here. I like Brock Bowers. Hendon's playing incredible. But when I think about it, I got to agree with Coach Kelly. Bryce is just special. Like, when you kind of just look at these receivers and what he's doing and really not having that drop-off from last year, winning a Heisman to this year, he's special, man. He just does whatever he wants out there. He spin around, loop-de-loop, juke here, juke there, throw an accurate dime down the field, and just so much poise, man. When you watch this game on Saturday, just watch how much poise he has in the pocket. He's just so calm back there. The moment's never too big. He's never letting the crowd or the fans or anything really take him off his game, and he's just special. So as much as I don't want to give the Alabama kid any credit, it's just hard not to make that case that he's like the best in the country right now.
Yeah, I mean, Hooker's playing awesome, and you mentioned Bowers. Like, I've never played the game, but I've seen like the start screen or whatever. Like, Brock Bowers looks like a Mortal Kombat character. Like, he looks like he's programmed out of a lab. He's got these huge shoulder pads on, running. He doesn't even look like he's running fast, but I know he's running fast. He's a different level dude. He's gonna make a lot of money in the National Football League in his time. But yeah, Bryce Young. He'll be on display tomorrow, unfortunately, and we'll hopefully get the better of him. That is take it or leave it here on a Football Friday edition of Hunt and Hill. We're not done yet, though. Hope your Friday is getting along just well. We will shortly be making our final selection here as we wrap up a week of Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LWCC is Louisiana loyal. They are elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana all November long. We were telling you about Molly Kimball.
Yeah, Molly Kimball is a registered dietitian, nutrition journalist, and founder of Oshner Eat Fit, created in 2013 as a resource for all things wellness. Eat Fit is a nonprofit initiative of Oshner Health that works to make healthy choice the easy choice through collaborative partnerships with restaurants, markets, and other food establishments right here in Louisiana.
I've sat down at so many restaurants and seen that Eat Fit logo on the menu. Had no idea what I was looking at. Well, now I do, and now y'all do, because Molly Kimball and her crew over at Eat Fit are the reason for it. They've worked with so many restaurants to create great dishes that are healthy and delicious here in Louisiana. And all over the state, she's doing this. Together with her Eat Fit team, Molly works closely with those restaurants, markets, other food service establishments to identify and develop dishes that meet the established nutritional criteria. In addition to Eat Fit, Molly also works to bridge the gap between the idea of wellness and real life through other ventures like her weekly podcast and her weekly TV segment over there on WGNO. Look, Molly Kimball is certainly a champion of Louisiana. If you know a nonprofit, a person like Molly, or a business who's doing awesome things in our great state, we want to tell their story here on Hunt and Hill, and LWCC allows us to do that. So go to lwcc.com/Louisiana Loyal and nominate someone to be a champion of Louisiana so that we can tell their story. Molly Kimball, this month's champion of Louisiana. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 2.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Phil Steele will be here to preview the biggest games of the college football weekend and our final look at LSU-Alabama. Join us, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You can start to feel it around here. Tigers and Tide tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. We'll come back with our final picks here a little bit later. We want to reset the show. If you missed it, you can catch it on demand, 1045 ESPN.com. Go to the On Demand tab, Hunt and Hill, all of our shows right there. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you find your audio, you can find Hunt and Hill. Open the show, 30 minutes straight of talk on LSU and Alabama. Got to our NFL tiers list, set the stage for Sunday's action in the National Football League. Talked about Colin Hurley, LSU's new quarterback commitment at the end of hour number one. That hour always brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. Opened up the second hour talking to SEC gambling picks, made all our picks for the Saturday slate in the Southeastern Conference. A little more LSU-Bama talk, and always take it or leave it. So if you missed any and all of that, catch it on demand at 104 at all those places I just told you there a second ago. All right, tomorrow's schedule for your game day. Everything cranks up on Eagle 98.1 for pregame at 1 o'clock. Charles Handegriff and Matt Musso with Eagle 98.1 game day at Rouse's on Burbank. They will have that from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, where they'll hand things off to the LSU Sports Radio Network. Michael Cobble will have your pregame with Brandon Taylor and Marlon Favorite from 4 to 5:30. I'll throw it to the broadcast team inside the stadium. They'll bring you the call of the game on Eagle 98.1. 30 minutes after it goes final, LSU's post-gamer show. That'll be Brian Haldane, Brandon Taylor, Marlon Favorite reacting to the game 90 minutes after the game goes final. We'll hear from Charles Handegriff and Jeremy Hill on Eagle 98.1 Game Day's post-game show from right here in studio. All that on Eagle 98.1. We'll have you from 1 o'clock on. All right, it's time now. Let's make our pick.
We near kickoff, and there will be north of 92,000 fans at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge as Alabama comes to town.
This will be obviously an exciting atmosphere, but, you know, I don't want our fans to think that this is the first and last.
And so they go into the bye week with a loss, giving up a shutout in the last second, not playing great offensively. What does that do? It sets the table for LSU in a couple of weeks.
And the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yo, LSU Tigers, we are applauding them because finally, for the first time in about a decade, they are actually relevant with the chance to upend Alabama, but it won't happen.
Now, here's Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill's final pick.
Oh, where did Casey find Stephen A. Smith? That's a thing of beauty. Man, I am fired up for this one, Jeremy. I know you are as well. Lay it on us.
I'm going to take a page from Hunt Palmer's book. If you think I'm going to pick against my LSU Tigers, I am. Because we're going to stick to the same script that we've stuck to the past 2 weeks. And I'm going to pick against my Tigers because I like what's happened since I've been picking against my Tigers. So, for that very reason, I'm going to pick Alabama to win this game in Death Valley. Big time win. Control their destiny. Woohoo. La la la. 27-21. I'll pick Alabama to somehow beat my Tigers. I'll go double here. Can I cross my legs too?
Throwing up the cross fingers here. Look, Nick Saban says do your job. It's all about the process. Our process has been pick against LSU. They always win. We went through all my litany of picks before the Ole Miss game. I've missed them all. I've just been absolutely atrocious all season long on picks, but you know it's been working a little bit. So, look, tomorrow's going to be fantastic. If you're concerned about the weather, every report we've seen is that tonight's going to be pretty hairy in South Louisiana, really throughout the entire state. Tomorrow morning's going to be pretty gross as well. things should clear out in the late afternoon, and Tiger Stadium should be able to fill in and be relatively dry. It ought to be an absolutely unbelievable environment for college football, maybe the best there is inside Tiger Stadium. A lot of people think that way, and when Alabama comes to town, everybody ratchets it up a little bit, and this is the first time in the Brian Kelly era that you're looking at them. Alabama has been pathetic on the road by their standards in the last 2 years. We know the list by now of the games that they've played where they've either lost or won at the very last second. And so hopefully that continues. I think LSU is very capable of winning this football game. I think they can slow down Jahmyr Gibbs in the run game, and I think that you can corral these Alabama receivers. Bryce Young's going to make his plays. There's no doubt about it. You can't stop that, but you can make some plays against him and slow him down, and hopefully the pass rush can get home a couple times, maybe make some game-changing plays. This all comes down to Jaden Daniels. I've said that all week. I continue to say that. Your quarterback must play exceptional football to beat Alabama. That's just the way it has been in the entire Nick Saban era. You go back and look at the statistics. We ran through all of them yesterday. Quarterbacks that beat Alabama are averaging 315 yards. They've thrown 19 touchdowns and 2 picks over the last 7 times that anyone has beaten Alabama. Jaden Daniels is capable of taking this game over. Nick Saban can't take the ball out of his hands, and they can run pass rush, and they can play their coverage and try to disguise things. But if he makes plays, there's nothing that Nick Saban can really do about that. He's got to play awesome, like he did against Ole Miss, like he did against Florida, for LSU to win this football game. He can do that. He needs to give his receivers some chances. Alabama's defensive backs have not made plays on footballs this year, only 3 interceptions all season long, and they've been incredibly penalized. Alabama has had as many penalties as anybody in college football, and a lot of them are pass interference because they're very handsy and they're not making plays on balls. LSU's receivers, Kayshon Boutte, Brian Thomas, Jack Besh, Jeray Jenkins, all those guys, Malik Neighbors, have got to go up and make some plays against this Alabama secondary. If LSU's going to win this game, in my opinion, it's going to be kind of a shootout, and I think that's what LSU is going to have to shoot for in this game to try to win it. As far as my pick goes in this game, I will be checking this thing out from 95 miles away. And that's okay. Y'all bring the noise on Saturday without me, and we'll talk about it on Monday. I'm going to pick Alabama to win this football game. I've got a final score of 35-17. We'll see what happens. I think Bryce Young's really good, and we'll see if LSU can maintain what we've seen for 2 weeks. But for right now, I will pick against the Tigers, kind of like you've done the last couple of weeks, kind of like I've done the last couple of weeks. Seems to be kind of a system that we're working out here on Hunt and Hill. Either way, we're going to be back talking about it. A loaded show coming at you on Monday. We'll have full reaction of this game, getting you ready for the Saints and the Ravens on Monday Night Football. 20 innings of baseball at the box on Sunday, and basketball starting up next Wednesday. So a jam-packed week coming at you. Y'all have an incredible weekend here in Baton Rouge. Stay safe, stay dry, and let's hope the Fighting Tigers come to play big time. We need to beat Alabama inside Tiger Stadium for the first time in 12 years. Let's get it done, Tigers. Y'all have fun. We'll see you on Monday. It's Hunt and Hill.